was during the last week in the hospital, a friend of mine who I'd met earlier from the neighboring town came in with a magazine, a gliding magazine, and in it was a photograph of a flying wing built by a Frenchman. It looked totally impossible. I'd never seen a flying wing that did not have a swept back wing. It was a straight wing with a high taper in it. I said, that's impossible. That thing could not possibly be stable or safe to fly. I turned the page and there's a picture of it in flight. And it was a long way up, like 8,000 feet. I said, this doesn't look real. So this played in my mind, and I read the whole article over and over. I said, wow, this is great. So then when a light north wind would blow, I would go out on the side of the garage, which created like a ridge. I could get ridge lift out of it. So if I launched the glider just right, it would get caught in this ridge lift and carry on up. The conventional models would go up until a little gust of wind would upset it, then it would fall about 4 feet out of the ridge lift and land. But the little flying wing, the little Fauvel French wing, would go up and just level off, soar on up. If it hit a gust, it might lose 6 inches and regain and go back up again. So I got some really nice long flights out of it. Eventually it would make a turn and blow over the garage to the other side. But this really excited me, and to think and do more model building in this flying wing area. So the next model was a model of the same wing, which was about a 4-foot span. And it flew stably, but it did not have a glide ratio. I made it exact scale, airfoil and everything, wing section. And it, instead of gliding about from launching from about 6 foot, I would expect it to glide about 60 feet. Well, they would only glide about 15 to 20 feet. It was almost like a parachute coming down. So I wonder what's wrong with that. So well, maybe the airfoil was quite thick. Okay, let's try a thinner airfoil, half the thickness. So I built another one much better, much better. So now it would glide about 50 feet out, and it was very stable. About this time, we had an article in the gliding magazine covering a new flying wing that's flying down in Texas. They call it the flying plank. And that was a strange name to give a glider, but its wing was like a Hershey bar. It was very short, stubby, with no taper. It had a little pod that sat in the middle of the wing with the pilot's head just sticking up out of it. And at the wingtips he had wingtip fins. So hey, this is a very simple glider. So I started writing to him. He would answer me back. And I asked him for the airfoil, the exact airfoil shape, and he sent me the information to do that. So I started drawing my own flying plank. Only I made mine with a much longer wing. It was basically the same, but a longer wing. And I worked at that for about 1.5 years. And I finished it, and I took it out, same field across the way, and did some test flying with it early in the morning. Had my two high school buddies out, and we started towing, and it did fly. In fact, it was very nice handling. A little bit quicker on the elevator than I was accustomed to, but it was not a problem. It still wasn't as fast as the response I used to get on my model airplanes when I fly with the wires on U-control. So I adapted to it very quickly. So that was how this went. I made a number of flights with it to maybe 60 foot high. But I began to have second thoughts about the structure, if it's strong enough. Did I design it? I didn't know what I was doing, really. So, well, maybe I better start thinking about going to college and learning something about structures. So I applied to Parks College in St. Louis, and I was accepted. So I left my glider behind, packed my 2 suitcases, and went off to college. And while I was there, I went into the library, found a wealth of information on airplanes and structures and all kinds of things, everything I want to know right now, rather than wait years in school to learn how to do it. So I took a lot of mathematics courses and physics courses and whatever I needed. I learned what I had to know.